morning, everyone. My name is Abhishek Chandra. I'm Chief Revenue Officer at GoQuick. We are an e-commerce enablement company, and we help D2C brands in improving their revenue realization. So as you know, the topic for today is how can D2C brands grow their revenues in 2023 during unpredicted market conditions. So with me, I have esteemed panelists who run different D2C brands. So before I start this session, or basically we deep dive, I want them to give a brief introduction about the brands they are building. We can start in any order. Yeah. Abhilasha.
Sure. So Open Secret is a better for you health and healthy food and beverages brand. We began as a brand focused on offering better for you options for everyone, right? The goal is that it is not restricted to only fitness enthusiasts. It's a huge, large market of everyone wanting to have better for you options. We began with cookies, which was about 3 years back. No maida cookies. We expanded to about 15 different categories across sweet, savory, beverages, etc. And about 6 months back, we started also becoming an omni-channel marketplace. So we also now have about 150 brands that we sort of work with, offer to our consumers, both online as well as offline. So the goal is to just make sure there are a variety of options available to every type of consumer.
Hey, hi everyone. This is Alok here from Berry Lush. We are a ultra fast fashion brand in the women western wear category. And we are omni-channel currently, but primarily a digital first brand. And last year we started our offline journey. We have around 7 exclusive brand outlets right now, and planning to open another 20 more in the next 12 months. And we are having multiple categories as well as multiple sub-brands. And primarily we, like end-to-end manufacturing happens all in India. So it's a made in India brand. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, so I'm Akash Anand. I started my journey with a brand called Bella Vita, which now has become one of India's largest perfume brands. Apart from that, we own a few other brands as well in our Idam House of Brands group, which is Bevzilla, a coffee company, Springwell Mattresses, Guardian Pharmacy, GNC Nutrition. Along with that, I also am a part of Ananta Capital, where we invest in a lot of brands, Open Secret being one of them, and a few others as well. D2C is our specialization, where we help brands and founders scale up very, very rapidly while keeping profitability at the epicenter of our entire journey.
My first question is from Akash. So Akash, you started as a beauty and personal care brand, then you diversified into different businesses. So in 2023, is there a category of business where you are most bullish on as per the market trends?
There are 2-3 categories. I mean, मैं कैसे बोलूं? So there are a few categories we're very bullish on, but at the same time, beauty and personal care, edibles, especially snacking, fast fashion, these categories are evergreen. We are still looking to build in these categories in 2023. Abhishek, category specific ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. It's all about a product to start with. Anything that we identify as a need of the consumer today, and we are able to bridge a gap between the demand and the supply by having the right market fit, is a gap that you need. So any industry, anything works. I mean, GoQuick kya hai yaar? You guys filled a gap for a B2B, business. So it doesn't matter if you're B2C or B2B, as long as you're able to fulfill an opportunity that a consumer wants, but the market is not there to give them, you found your category, and nothing can then affect you to grow.
So next, I would like to ask Alok. So Alok, during this market slowdown, which we have seen a little bit, so any change in strategy when it comes to keeping the month-on-month growth high, but keeping the overall cost to be controlled?
Share a few examples, like in our organization, what we are doing. And so primarily when we look at, our strategy, to begin with, 5 years back, like 90% of our sales used to come from one category, which we realized that is not a very good thing for a brand, right? And we wanted to reduce the dependency on one category, and slowly, like that category is still predominant, but it's around 50% now, right? But then what we have realized is that when we are diversifying, it need not just be addition of categories, but it can be like addition of sub-brands also. So one of the few things that we have seen in the last 6 months which worked out very well for us is we diversified into a sub-brand called Berrylush Curve, right? Which is a all-size brand, and and we have seen a very good traction from that. Apart from that, a few more things that we are doing is getting into related like categories, but it's a category which we do not have like strength in, but we do see that there is an opportunity there, right? So bags and accessories category is something that we are building. Again, most of the things, like whatever we do is in-house, right? So we are planning to, so again, what we have seen is that you can plan for categories, but you won't see a traction right away. But what we are doing is preparing ourselves for the future, right? So even bags and accessories category right now is less than 0.5% of our overall revenue. But we do see this category to be something like which will help us in, again, the initial goal of reducing over dependency on a particular category. Apart from that, what we are consciously trying to do is create a omni-channel experience for our customers. And we as a brand, we feel that from a digital first brand moving to offline is a natural transition, right? Like we don't have to do anything specific to our product because the product market fit is already there. These are our customers who are already like buying from us. It's just a channel like where like they can experience Berrylush in a better manner, and it's not either this or that. Like as personally also we feel that like sometimes we purchase something from like a store, same brand we buy it from Amazon, same brand we buy it from their website, right? So it is not the channel, but it is the brand that you are consuming, right? And these channels are something that it's very challenging, especially when as a digital first brand, when we first opened our store, it is a completely different channel. We don't know how it works, right? But again, we are preparing ourselves for the future where over dependency on a category or a revenue channel is not something that a brand should do, right? So that is why we are trying to diversify ourselves, not only from a category point of view, but also from a sales channel point of view. And the other thing that we are trying to do is, like, we have not started it yet, but this year we are planning to do is going global, right? So again, the category of products that we are into, it has it's a global brand, global products, right? So we are again looking for that expansion, but that is again something which is challenging from a lot of supply chain point of view. And so, but again, we are trying to do that, and we have already started, working towards that. But anything that we do, be it addition of new categories, addition of new sub-brands, or trying out new sources of revenue or channels, initial days, it's very challenging for the organization to try it out, because it's an unknown that you're getting into. But in everything, what we have realized is, like, Berrylush as a startup, say 5 years back when we started, we had our own set of challenges, and we overcome that, and the product market fit we got. Then, when we start a bags category, right, it's again a startup within a startup, because again from scratch we have to, build the products, get the product market fit, understand the supply chain, because it's very different, from a back-end point of view. And but it's difficult to do, but you have to do it, right? To overcome, any kind of, in future, if the slowdown, happens, or your growth, what you're expecting is not up to the mark, or even if the market is going, if you get a lot of competitors coming in, right, or a bigger competitor coming in a specific category of yours, like it can be very challenging, right? So I think the best way is to diversify into multiple categories, multiple sub-brands, but again, related to the brand.
Sure. And any change in terms of your marketing strategy or, yeah, let's start about marketing strategy. Any change in, during this period?
So one thing that we have realized is that, like personally today, before this, we were having a talk about retention and, like customers. Retaining a customer is something that, we don't do it very well. And we take it for granted, like our customers, we all go after acquisition of the customers, right? But then what about retaining them, right? So we are lucky enough that our products are good, that we are retaining our customers in an organic manner. But I feel that this year what we are going to do is work more towards retention of our customers, right? Because acquisition is something that is happening, right? But how do you retain? And with retention of a customer has a lot of value in our industries, because for a new customer, when they come trying out a clothing brand, right, sizing is a big issue. Means finding the right fit for yourself in the brand is a big problem. But when a customer is accustomed to a brand, know their sizes, when they are buying again, return rates drastically go down. And for us, it's one thing that operationally we continuously try to do is how do we reduce our return rate. And again, retention has a lot of value attached to it, right? And a true brand is something in the long term, if you are able to create a brand which people love, right? And that's the brand which can sustain any kind of market, any kind of issues that a brand can face. So for that, I think retention strategies and retaining of customers in a genuine manner, right? Not by bombarding them with too many notifications, right? But creating that value for the customer, I think, is something that in our marketing strategy is going to be one of the top priorities this year.
Sure. So Abhilasha, would you like to add here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, retention is like super important, right? And one of the benefits we've seen as we've gone from being a single brand to giving consumers the opportunity of like selecting from 100 to 150 brands is today you have like literally any food product that you'd want to buy during the day or eat during a week available in a better for you option on the website. So we've now started seeing retention. We earlier used to talk at a quarterly level, then we started talking monthly. Now for a certain group of users, we are looking at like weekly, right? Like because they'd want to come back and try other things. So that's a really large, that's something that we focus a lot on, and just like evolving to having a lot of brands is helping us do that in a pretty big way.
Sure. So next question is I would like to ask you only. So you started as a D2C brand, then eventually you became a marketplace for these for brands in the similar category. So what do you think? How easy or difficult is to run a marketplace versus a dedicated or building your own D2C brand?
Sure. So I'll start with what are the upsides, right? The upsides, we spoke about retention. You also start having more levers for acquisition. Like we've been able to get certain categories that give us lower CAC than we've seen even with our own native brand. We're also able to get much larger basket sizes. Our basket size has almost doubled in the last year and a half, because you're just giving consumers many more things to buy. Like, I love the cookies we started with, but after a point, how many cookies can you add to the basket, right? Like there is only so much you or your family can consume. And like one of my favorite things to do is see our large basket sizes on our back end every day. And I saw there was a real customer who had actually bought prepaid order worth like 13,000. And I was like, whoa, that's like a lot. And I was like 15, 20 different products, like everything from snacking to staples to beverages. And like that's my dream consumer, right? Someone who's buying so much. And of course, like let's face the reality, right? We went consumer backwards. Consumers want better for you options across the board. We've done a lot of variety in-house. We have stuff from like chocolates, cookies, sort of savory snacks, beverages. So we've done a lot, but we also know that there are operational constraints in trying to do so many different food categories which are operationally complex, right? Food is an incredibly operationally complex category. So those are some of the upsides, right? Now, anytime we find an interesting category, we don't have to think about, oh, when can we produce this in-house? We can also think about having sort of brands that sort of serve that consumer need. Now I'll come to the challenges, and there are tons of them, right? Your complexity you're like, we currently own inventory, and you're sort of like, you have to sort of, your inventory sort of challenges go through the roof. Optimization of consumer sort of like what is shown first, what is shown later becomes extremely harder. You have to get the supply chain just right. You're just like, have to become much more agile. So in many ways, and the way we've been solving a lot of these problem statements is in a very tech and data-driven manner. So we've now had to think very actively about building those tech capabilities in-house, scaling them up, because just the complexity is much harder. So just a very sort of lots of upsides, but just a lot of new challenges as well that we're trying to solve along the way.
So, Akash, tell me one thing. With this quick commerce thing coming into play and becoming more and more popular, so you have different set of brands under your portfolio. So how they are helping in different set of businesses of yours?
Quick commerce.
Quick
You mean
commerce.
Blinkit, Zepto?
Blinkit, Zepto.
Fantastic. I think quick commerce will soon take a big market share of a lot of marketplaces. To give you an example, दो अलग-अलग examples देता हूँ अगर आप सब लोग interested हो. So one is a category of skincare or perfumes. Second is a category of coffee, right? Two brands, Bella Vita and Bevzilla. Both these brands have now started doing more than almost ₹1 crore a month just on Blinkit, Zepto, right? Individually. Why? Perfume is a massively gifted product, right? A different category. We've seen consumers leaving for a party and ordering a perfume on the way on the address of the place they're going to. तो last moment पे आपको gifting चाहिए, so Bella Vita or Zepto or Blinkit, they become great for gifting as an option, right? At the same time, look at coffee. When we have Bevzilla, a coffee brand, which is a top seller on Amazon, the moment a consumer wants coffee quickly, he'll either choose or she'll either choose Amazon Fresh, that is an 8 to a 10 hour delivery, or go to a Blinkit or a Zepto. Giving you an example, I had some guests over the weekend in my house. I was out of the coffee stock. Our warehouse is in Okla or in Manesar. So the time it would have taken for me to get my own coffee in my house, I ordered it from Blinkit, came to my house in about 9 minutes or 12 minutes, right? I paid for my own product to order from Blinkit. So quick commerce is the next big thing. And if you guys can find a way to integrate your D2C products into these quick commerce companies or marketplaces, plus they're burning a lot of money right now, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to really help you get visibility. They're going to really help you drive traffic by them spending the money. So that's a hack. Go their way. Anyone wants to get connected with quick commerce companies, reach out to me. I'll help you connect with the founders. And surely you should try that. Quick commerce is massive.
And do you think they'll be able to disrupt the legacy 3PL providers, last mile companies like DTDC, Blue Dart?
कर ही रहे हैं ना यार. All these quick commerce companies are opening their dark stores.
Yeah.
I was sitting with the Blinkit founders, not the founders top team, and they had opened 250 odd dark stores, plus a recent company invested in ZFW dark stores. I invested in that, and they're also supporting all these quick commerce companies to facilitate their dark stores and facilitate 10 minutes delivery across the pin codes where these companies are not available already.
Great. And so according to you, what I can understand is that companies like even Ferns and Petals will be disrupted by these players because...
नहीं तो हो ही रहा है ना. This Valentine's Day, I sent about 4-5 different bouquets to 4-5 different locations. It was all done through Blinkit. Blinkit picked it up from Ferns and Petals, I believe. And that was the entire value chain. Call it disruption. You can also call it enablement or empowerment. So Blinkit is now helping Ferns and Petals and other brands which are coming up into gifting to quicken their process and give them more orders.
And So before we move further, so we have touched upon many different things. So tell me one thing, I want to understand from you. So there are many founders who are just planning to start in 2023 or they recently started their companies. So any common mistakes that you can help them avoid, that, okay, these are the common mistakes which an early founder could have made in 21, 22, and they would have survived, but it won't work anymore in 2023. So any advices?
Sure, Abhishek, lots of advices, but just to know our audience better, by a show of hands, how many startup founders do we have in this room already? Not a lot. And are there other people or top teams of startups or D2C startups or marketing companies? Okay. So a few mistakes that a lot of founders make. You know, 2023 की अगर बात करें, 21 या 20 में performance marketing while keeping D2C as your focus would have worked fantastically, which today will not work. So today the CACs or the CTR or the CPIs, the cost of all those are actually 4 to 5 times of what they used to be when we started, you know, 4 years back. So today founders making that mistake of opening their Shopify store or opening their D2C platform and then going to Facebook, Insta to advertise is one of the worst strategies ever, right? मत करो. I'm sorry भाई, तेरा go quick D2C में enable करता है, but that's one thing you should not do as starters, because that way you'll end up burning money, right? And we as a fund or as a company do not believe in burn. We are here to earn, not to burn. People start business to make money, not to burn money. Second, a lot of founders become very finicky about perfecting their product, which is good. You should have a fantastic product, but do not delay your launches, do not delay your go-to-market because you want to achieve a 11 on 10 on a product. Even if you're there on a 8 on 10 or a 7.5 on 10, launch karo, customer feedback lo, see how customers love your products, and then keep moving ahead. But do not get finicky about perfection in terms of wasting 3 to 4 months. तब तक कोई और आपका idea copy करके product launch करके start भी कर देगा. So speed is key. Have perfection to a certain level, but launch things with speed. So don't keep waiting कि नहीं यार मैं तो perfection achieve करूँगा या करूँगी. And और भी चीजें, I think we leave the floor to questions later and people can ask and we can help them. Yeah.
Definitely. And do you want to add something in this on this question itself?
Yeah, I think just one thing over there is that is there really a space for the product? Because it's now gotten fairly crowded. At least in the food and beverages space, you have to be going after a very consumer niche that matters. And please don't rely on your own, like, मुझे अच्छा लगता है या फिर my family thinks this is interesting. There's a lot of data. You can see where the white zones are. You should go after them because it is a more crowded market. And I'm sure this is also true in like beauty and personal care, that it has evolved to have a lot of things. And so when you're starting out, you don't want to be a me too, or you don't want to be doing something just ke liye already there is a solve. But there are still a lot of white spaces, but go after the white space.
So easing what Abhilasha is saying, a lot of startup founders belong to tier 1, okay? And everyone in this room, we're all either living in Delhi NCR or flying in from a tier 1 city. The mistake a lot of founders end up making is they think कि consumer हमारी तरह है. The unfortunate part is we are just 1% of the country, or 0.5% of the country. The moment you start making products for the remaining 99%, that's when you achieve volumes, that's when you achieve growth. So don't think यार सारे consumers मेरे जैसे हैं, तो क्योंकि मैं 1000 रुपए का quality product लूँगा या लूँगी, बाकी लोग भी लेंगे. So focus towards your competition, which is the brick and mortar stores, if you're a D2C brand, which are present in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. So very important to know your audience very well.
Great.
Just one thing I would like to add is, from a, when we are gap analysis or white space analysis, when we do, we look at things which is not available, or there is a demand for something but which is not available currently, or like a superior version of that can be developed, or things like that. We do have to look at, from a competitor analysis, that's very important. Sometimes what we do is like we do a gap analysis, but we don't do it thoroughly, right? Like there are products which are there are brands which are there, but you haven't seen that. or if you are getting into a category which is existing, right? We need to analyze the competitors in a very deep manner and understand the price bands at which these competitors are, right? And do not, like be everywhere. Like you have to understand that what you are. Are you a, like a affordable brand, mass premium, premium, ultra luxury, whatever you are, you need to stick to that, right? And not get into, like multiple price bands with the same brand. Like this is just a personal advice.
Sure. So before I move forward, if anyone from the audience has anything to ask from the three founders, please feel free to ask.
So, as you mentioned that performance marketing is not working that well, creating a Shopify store and then advertising through Instagram, Facebook is not working that well in 2023. So instead, what should be done?
Today, if you have to launch an organic personal care brand, you're my competition, awesome. So if you have to launch an organic personal brand, right? What do you think is a better platform? Advertising it on Facebook, Instagram, or getting it listed on a marketplace where you already have organic customers coming in looking for new products?
So with Lil Pigs, it was a complete marketplace brand. We were the top seller with Myntra and Nykaa, and it was a fast fashion kids wear brand. So I have zero experience for D2C. So now I want to get into D2C space. So wanted to understand like what is the right strategy
Correct.
for 2023.
Correct. So आज let's say you launch Ria Organics, right? Your brand for organic cosmetics. अगर आप अपना website बनाओगे and then you start advertising, first you'll spend money on a Shopify store, which is very important, you should. Then you'll do your shoots, you'll do your tutorials, etc., etc. Then you'll start advertising. In the current scenario, you don't get a net ROAS of more than 1.5, 1.6 by spending money on Amazon by spending money on Flipkart and Insta and other such platforms. You'll end up getting into a loss. Yes, you've taken your exit, you must have made great money. So you can bear that loss on a new company. But when you go to raise funds after a year or a year and a half, a lot of VCs or seed funds would not entertain you because now top line ka zamana gaya, now it's all about working on profitability. So the ideal scenario for you would be to first launch your products, a few products, 10, 15 SKUs. Started with a Nykaa, with an Amazon, with the Flipkart, with other smaller portals. You know, Etsy now is getting popular in India. With other smaller portals where you already have organic customers. And it's better to spend advertising money over there and first build your consumer traction and then start getting those consumers on your D2C brand. So that's very important. A short strategy is product list karo, har product ke andar coupon dal do, saying your next purchase on my website gives you 25% off. That's how you get customers who find you on a marketplace, but then follow up the next transaction on your D2C store. That's how you build something more profitably.
At what point of time a D2C or new age, or I call it challenger brand rather, I use a new term called challenger brand, should go offline? Right from the word start, let's say I'm starting from 1st of March going online. What time? It's like a 12 months plus, or 24 months plus.
So what do you do?
I work for a startup, and we are provide a lot of, I would say, commerce solutions, offline commerce solutions to brands.
Offline commerce solutions to brands, right? So your context of the question is to understand कि by when should you start pitching an offline integration to D2C brands? यही पूछना चाहते हो?
Yeah, my objective is to, because I have also individually invested in a couple of D2C brands as well. So for that perspective, I want to understand.
Great. Abhilasha, I have an answer, but do you want to start? Yeah.
I think it depends a bit on the category. And I think that's an answer for like most things D2C. It's too broad an umbrella term. In the food and beverages space, we were doing that from day one. So maybe in a very small manner. And of course, you have to figure out your price point, your SKUs, which offline is also a broad word, which offline segment is correct for you at that particular SKU price point and level. But I would say, like when I say, I think we probably listed on marketplaces first, started building our own thing, and within 2 or 3 months, we did have presence in offline. And that was, again, in a very sort of calculated, prioritized manner. That's because food and beverage is still a very, you want to see it to believe it kinds. You want to see it offline in a sort of variety of ways. There's still a lot of discovery and browsing that is happening offline along with consumption. So for us, that was in the category, it was very, very early on. Second, there are a lot of reasons where offline can also be extremely profitable if you have the right kind of like partnerships, etc. So at least in the food and beverages context, pretty early. And I know you're working on like offline enablement. One thing that I think is a huge white space is like sometimes offline is hard to have visibility on. Even now, a lot of solutions are based on like, oh, your promoter is in this place, those kind of software. But there isn't enough on like trying to have more loops back offline to online so that you understand your end consumer better. We had to do it through hacks. We did a lot of stuff through QR codes, etc., to see, similar to what Akash was also saying, to just try and understand that better. But that's a huge opportunity. Like I'd give an arm and leg to have a good offline to online, not just to upsell and cross-sell, that's obviously there, but also, frankly, to understand your consumer. Because one of the challenges in your first few years, or I think many years, is you're actually not very sure of who your end consumer is if you're doing it through another sort of party, because you don't know who's buying it. You want to know them much better. So yeah, that's sort of the broad thing, pretty early for us, given the segment and space, and I just highlighted a couple of challenges I'd love solved in the offline to online context.
Going offline is not dependent on a milestone. Going offline is it depends on 3 factors: guts, money, and demand. How much guts do you as a founder or a company have, or a management? How much money do you have in the pocket to sustain credits or to sustain the payments from the market? Because offline is more of a credit game. And third is the demand and intelligence. To give you an example, very early in our journey, we started identifying a few PIN codes which were giving us a lot of repeat consumers. Give you an example, Howrah, near Kolkata, was one of those PIN codes where a lot of ladies were buying one particular product by Bella Vita. I think this was during a time where we were just about 3.5 crores a month kind of a revenue. We quickly went offline just in that PIN code with about 50 odd shops, right? And then we started identifying more markets where we could have gone offline. The same thing we did with Bevzilla as well. A lot of companies make a mistake where they hire a national head, put a lot of money behind it, go distribution, but offline is a market जहाँ पे आपका product अगर advertise नहीं होगा तो pick up नहीं होगा. Plus online में क्या आप अपना product समझा सकते हो, offline में you can't explain your product to consumers. So offline is always dependent on the amount of funding you can do towards your inventory and credit cycle, the amount of guts you can show to market your product in the most innovative way, and third, by being intelligent about where the demand is coming from.
I just wanted to understand, like, whatever perspective you're talking about here is more of product based, but as it a business wherein we are providing services as a corporate skill development organization, so how would you recommend that we position it in front of the larger corporate scenario instead of using, because Facebook, Instagram, these are like all social media handles wherein people have a perspective of more about entertainment. But if we talk about the educational part, the academic front, whether it will be assisting students to get into corporate, and also the corporate veterans, who have in the army, they are trying to transition their career to corporate. So how would you recommend that we reach out to that larger corporate scenario audience?
No, so your question is, how do you build your business by reaching out to the right corporate guys?
Yes, sir.
Right?
How can we channelize it?
Okay. So Facebook, Insta, you're saying is more of entertainment product, etc., right?
Yes, sir.
So let's answer your question. Which is the biggest platform where all the corporates and all the serious conversations happen?
So LinkedIn right now, we are majorly targeting LinkedIn.
That's it. So LinkedIn and roadshows. That's the only 2 things. So I think in corporates, all these activities are arranged by admins and HRs.
Yes.
Right? So if you're able to reach out to them through roadshows, by visiting them one-to-one, and second is by innovative content on LinkedIn, especially testimonials by these people, I think that's the only 2 strategies you need to follow without burning a lot of money.
The dilemma that we are in right now is we do about just under half a million annually right now. 90% comes from US D2C. We are completely bootstrapped. 100% of our sales comes from SEO. We haven't spent a penny yet on performance. Now, either we stay bootstrapped and slowly grow and earn a 30-35% net, or we spend out of that 35%, 25% on customer acquisition through Facebook or Instagram, lose our bottom line but increase our top line. So as a Desi, I'm happy with bottom line, but as in the whole startup journey and world that we are bestowed in, we want to grow fast to reach that 10 million as well. So it's very difficult to leave the bottom and go for top. And that's the dilemma, because where is the point that we forget on the bottom and start on the top now? So that's
Can I have a name, please?
Varun, sir.
Varun. Alok, do you want to answer him or?
Just one quick thing is that, see, basically, one thing that I've, understood and realized is that, say today if you're 500,000, right, and say 30%, whatever that amount is, right, you can get the same amount at 10 million also, means you reduce your EBITDA margins and you can get that too, right?
Not
But
for us, sir. We're a slow fashion company, so our margins are limited to what they are. We work on a gross of 50%.
okay.
So we cannot increase that. So that'll stay stable at that level.
No, that's not what he's saying, but ठीक है, बताते हैं अभी. बताओ.
नहीं मतलब मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि like when we are looking at the overall market size, right? Like obviously it has to be bigger, right, than 500,000. That is what you are targeting.
Yeah, top line, absolutely. It's 100
So
million.
when we are talking about, say, you keep a margin, EBITDA margin of say 35% is what you are saying, right? Like today you maintain a 35% margin.
Yeah.
In clothing industry, if you have anything, above 8%, I think it's a healthy margin to be. You can target a 8% and grow that 500,000, that additional EBITDA what you have, you can spend on advertisement and grow it further and have that same value, right? Like whatever you have today, you can still have that value.
Is it a family business?
No, it's a startup, sir.
It's a startup.
Yeah.
कितने partners हो आप लोग?
Just me, sir.
Just you.
Yeah.
कहाँ से operate कर रहे हो?
Gurgaon, sir.
घर से, office से?
Office, sir.
Great. 500,000 sale करते हो साल की?
हाँ जी, sir.
3.5, 4 crores?
Yes, sir.
4 crores. 30% EBITDA?
30% net, sir.
30% net EBITDA, no? 30% net
profit, yeah.
Net profit, ना? तो
Yeah.
उस पे tax भी देते हो ना?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
Tax काट के साल का कितना घर आया? 1 CR?
Yeah,
1 CR.
approximately.
So you make close to 8 lakh rupees a month?
Approximately.
That's
yes.
fantastic. No one in this room, I think very less people in this room would make that kind of money, right? Now, what is the ambition? Is the ambition for you to keep making 8 to 10 to 15 lakhs a month for the next 10 years? Or the ambition for you is to make 25, 30 crores in wealth? What's the ambition? Ambition will depend करता है ना?
Ambition is, sir, to take it to 100 crore and net earn about 1.5, 2 crores a month. That's
Okay. So do you think with your own money you can take this to 100 crores?
Yes, because it's a profitable business.
Awesome. So you're making 8 lakh rupees a month. खर्च आपकी शादी हो गई वरुण?
हाँ जी, sir.
कितने बच्चे हैं?
3, sir.
क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
Twins.
Twins.
Just had twins.
Awesome. So you can live a great life in Gurgaon in
Right.
about 3.5 lakh rupees a month. You can grow by 2 ways. One, piggybacking on an investor, like
Sure.
I did.
Sure.
Or second, showing balls and doing it yourself.
Right.
So it depends on what you want. For example, I took my business to only 3 crores a month till I raised funding and I sold half of my company and made a lot of money. That was a different story.
Right.
But today, if I have to do it again, I would still do the same. I would still take my business to 2.5 crores a month, profitably, raise funds, and still run the business profitably, make me happy, make my investors happy, and share my goal with 100 more people who are helping me run the organization. So it depends on what you want. If you want to keep growing your own way and just sustain yourself with 3, 4, 5 lakh rupees a month, while investing 3, 4 lakh rupees in performance marketing, growing your consumer base, great. नहीं तो आप अच्छे स्केल पे हो, you can go in the market, raise some funds, use that money, अपने आपको 4 लाख रुपए की सैलरी दो ना as a founder, and use that money and grow your company.
Sure.
So it depends on what your appetite is.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Hi, panelists. So I am Shikhar. I am from Amitoj, India. So we are the pioneers in retail visibility. Like Abhilasha and you were saying that now the market has been much more cluttered. Like D2C are now coming to offline channels. So what important does point of display material, especially, play in these to increase the retail visibility and help your brand grow in that?
Very important यार. I think जो दिखता है वो बिकता है और जिस पे दिखता है उसी की वजह से बिकता है.
Yeah.
Right? So you guys, especially your founder, I keep forgetting his name.
He's
Where is he?
Maniraj.
Hi buddy, how are you? I keep seeing you on LinkedIn. The kind of content he makes is fantastic. Yaar. I mean, hats off to you and the kind of videos you make for your products. Very, very self-explanatory and very innovative. So I think a lot of D2C brands who are now going retail, it's very important for them to have customized solutions which are affordable and which look very, very pleasant and appealing. And you guys are doing a fantastic job in that. Yeah. So I think very important कि product जिस पे placed है वो ही बहुत ज़्यादा innovative होना चाहिए. Plus practical होना चाहिए for any D2C company because we have to save costs and we have to be able to be very, very flexible in picking up the display units from one store and keeping them to the other. So if you're able to do that, I mean, hats off here. You're doing a great job already. Abhilash, anything? Because Open Secret has a lot of retail, starting a lot of retail now as well.
Yeah, I think it's critical. Like I think, and the major thing over here is also I think what Akar said, customization. Because if you think it's going to look exactly this, like if you can't distinguish between what I put in and like what my competitor puts in, it's, I mean, it's not really bang for the buck. So I think the customization piece is like super important, especially in, like I think in most spaces these days, like offline, consumers tend to even identify with certain colors and certain like brand language with brands. And that's very important in offline. So that being able to get that customization without having to do it yourself is a huge thing. Like as a, you know, as a business, we care a lot about that.
Hi, my name is Ahmed. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. This question is really for the panel. You know, D2C brands, e-commerce businesses, they're quite operational heavy. You know, multiple employees, founders and CXOs spending a lot of time putting out fires within the business. So we're just wondering, you know, within the panel, do you suggest brands to use any productivity tools or, you know, productivity hacks or any sort of optimization tricks and tools? Do you guys personally use some? If so, what are they?
Ahmed, I think it's each to its own here. You know, I know a lot of founders that we've invested in who use a lot of tools. I keep forgetting the names, but you know, these are tools where they'll put their tasks in and then review those. So it's always very, very good to be structured and organized. I'm not one of those. I'm a very unstructured founder. I like doing my things one-to-one with my team members. So I think everything requires a stage and scale. Showroom mein toh it's just a 3-4 member team, so you can always do it comfortably with each other one-to-one. And as you keep scaling, it's very good. It's very important to put tools into place. So it depends on founder to founder. But yes, structuring things is very, very important.
So just a follow-up there. You mentioned you're an unstructured founder, and the choti team size hoti hai, so it really doesn't matter as much. But let's say, for example, आपके business में कोई issue आया है, there's some sort of fire you need to put out. Maybe some, you know, your top-selling product, Amazon के warehouse में अचानक से खत्म हो गया. How do you keep track of stuff like that? What are you using to keep track of issues that affect your bottom line?
By hiring my chief of staff, a CHRO and VPs.
मतलब basically talent. Talent के बाद.
So either you hire the people who complement, you know, who are able to fulfill for your shortcomings. That's what I did. I was able to scale my business in a way where I had enough money to hire the right talent. Otherwise, you learn how to change yourself, involve yourself.
You wouldn't want to invest in technology as opposed to talent?
No, I would love to. But I would love to invest in technology to empower my talent.
Got it.
Because without humans, nothing makes sense. You can have the best of technology, execute kaun karega? Amazon mein baat kaun karega? Right?
In that fact, we should talk. So me, this is my co-founder, we are building a productivity tool for e-commerce businesses.
Great
I was just
pitch.
wondering if you guys are using anything. Abhilasha, if you use something.
Great pitch. If Abhilasha adapts your tool, we are investors in her company, we'll adapt it too.
100%.
I think, I mean, we'd love to see the tool. But I think more importantly, I think it's the urgent versus important question, right? Like you said, there's a lot of firefighting. If there's one, I have tried a lot of tools, right? And I'm actually a super organized person, tried all tools. Eventually realized they don't work. And then come back to calendar. Now I know that what's on my calendar gets done. And I know for a fact that I always make sure I have my calendar blocked for important stuff. Important which is not urgent. Like you can keep solving the fires for today, but if you're not like building a business for 3, 6, 12 months out, you're being very short-sighted. But I'm always looking out for productivity tools. I think I've tried Asana, I've tried Coda, I've tried like every possible tool. Eventually it comes down to the people and how well it integrates with your current system. Since we use Gmail, eventually if it doesn't flow back to my existing system, it kind of defeats it because then I have to have another layer to manage that other tool, which I don't want.
We use Asana, and you know, it's a very key tool that we have, and without that, you know, executing on a day-to-day basis, like, you know, managing multiple people, it's very difficult, and it has been quite useful, and we are using it the past, I think, 4 years, 3-4 years.
In fact, I'll add here. So when we started 2 years back, so we are still a 100% remote company. So we have over 200 people working out of 60 cities. So we do spend money on tools. We use Slack, we use Jira, we use X210X for OKRs and everything, just to align everyone because we hardly meet each other. All right, apart from the leadership team, it's very difficult to meet people. So that is why tools play a very big part in our overall journey. I think our times is up. So it's been a great interaction with you all. And thanks for being a wonderful audience. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.